Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast, for the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. If you want to make sure that your marriage doesn't unravel, listen to this episode when we talk about our dates, even when we travel.
That was perfect. I like that one a lot.
Okay, wow.
Because it went together.
Right?
Yeah.
Like my outfit today.
No, sir.
No, sir. That would be fun if we post a picture and say what you think about my outfit and what I think about my outfit. We'll do a little bit of a he said, she said on the she shells. So, Jessie Joy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Did you miss me when I went to Miami?
No and yes.
See, now we get something to talk about.
No and yes.
There was some fun stuff that happened this week. We've got first of all, we have some amazing success stories of guys finding their power and finding themselves in their marriage again. So that's always fun to share. I like sharing some success stories of guys. You know, they'll watch through our modules to understand the philosophy and psychology of what it is that we actually teach. And then from there, we open up with a one-on-one call to say, okay, now how do we build the game plan for you? And almost without fail, not every time, but almost without fail, they're like, you're not even going to believe what's already happening in my marriage. I'm like, well, let me guess. She's leaning in. They're like, yeah. They're like, and I realize it's just these types of stories just ignite a real fire inside of me. And they get me so excited that we get to do what we get to do. And we get to do it today together. Jessie Joy,
yes.
Tell us about this trip. I've been traveling, doing some really good stuff, but we were able to stay radically connected throughout it. And you have a perspective. So what were some of the things that you thought about when it comes to this?
Well, let's just say I didn't miss you at first because I liked the 3 days. And then you were gone, 6 days? And that's too long. So let's not do that again.
Right.
But how we stay connected, you called me in between. When you can. You asked how my day was, so I gave you an update, and then you gave me an update on yours and some things that were going on. I was like, call me back and let me know. So I felt like I was in on the loop. Was it your third night there or second night where you called me FaceTime? And this was your idea, and you said, should we FaceTime? Because we've been watching Dexter, as everyone know if they listen to the podcast.
We just finished season 5. By the way. Wow.
So, I was like a whole week without my Dexter time with you. So you called and you're like, put me on FaceTime. And I thought you were going to turn yours on, but you said, turn the camera around, and we watched it together. And so I'm holding the phone like this. We're watching Dexter, and I could make comments in the phone. I'm like, ooh, and we were laughing. We watched, a little bit of Dexter together, and that was fun. So that was our date night for the week.
Yeah. It was, there was a rhythm to our communication that seemed to be in sync. And that is one of those things that we've worked really hard for, but once it happens, you're just excited it happened. Yeah. And I felt like the energy from me as I'm out, because I was out doing cool shit that you knew was going to be fun, and you knew was going to be with people that you love and that you know. And I would be like, oh, hey, this is what happened. This is what I'm going through. This is what this looked like. And it was more of the, like, when you're dating and you're sharing cool stuff because you want to have happen with each other, it had that vibe to it. And then hey, do you want to just watch FaceTime and watch Dexter together? Yeah. That's one of the things that we like to do. That's something that you really enjoy doing.
I do.
I probably wouldn't if I wasn't with you.
But
because
fun.
I know
Don't lie.
It is fun. Yeah. It's just it's something that you like. So like when you used to watch football with me, or go to these restaurants and we would post up and watch football at Yard House all day, you would come and do it because it was fun, because it was a thing to do. But you were like, I probably am not doing this on my own.
I would never do that on my own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that
unless I guess I was single and I was like, I need to go somewhere where guys are at.
Yeah.
That's the only way. But no.
Yeah. My guess is you'd go some other spots, but
yes.
With that being said, though, it was the intentionality of, do you want to spend time together? And I feel like I have used to be horrible at this.
That's what I wanted to get into.
We'll get into it, girl.
Our old relationship, you would say, like, I don't need to call you. I don't need to check in. You are not my mother.
Direct
and a lot of wives will say, call when you land safely, like just peace of mind. And you're like, no, like basically gaslight me and be like you're crazy. I'm obviously fine. I'll call when I want. Basically, that was your whole energy. But you would say little things like, I'll call when I can. Like,
Super
to
attractive,
get me
right?
off your back.
Super attractive.
Oh, just that would fire me up. And our first breakup led to, because you didn't, well, that was on my end, led to, you didn't call me for like 4 days the whole time you were gone. And I was like, something obviously is wrong. I'm not taking that shit. But yeah, you broke up with me then on the way home from the airport. Remember that?
I do. Yeah. But here's the energy of why I wanted to talk about it, because if the energy, if a woman feels like her energy, that your energy towards her is, I can't wait to share this with her.
Yeah.
She'll feel like on the journey with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something I think a lot of guys understand, that when you travel, include her in the almost give her the blow by blow commentary of what's happening.
Yeah.
So she can feel like a part of it. And then what I noticed is we didn't need to catch up a lot when I got home.
No.
We were already caught up as we were going along, even though we had a big long walk and talk after I got home.
Yeah, it's still fun.
But it was about more stuff and deeper stuff, and we were able to go deeper on certain things. And it wasn't just that.
When you started traveling a lot, Jovi was like one. I obviously couldn't go then because it was a lot more difficult. I would go to some, but not really. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you made me feel like I was bugging you, so I wasn't on the end. And you're like learning and growing and learning all these things, and then you come home and you're like on a high. Mm-hmm. And then yet I'm frustrated because I've been with Jovi for like 4 or 5 days, and she's little, and I had no time by myself. So like I would put that on you, and you would be like on a high. I'd be like miserable, and then you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted, time to go to bed, you know. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So like we would fight, I think, big time over that situation alone.
Yeah. As much as we don't fight over this stuff anymore, I forget how much we used to fight over it. Like this was a big thing, and I think it was just it was a mismanagement on my part. And then I think there's a lot to be said for how you're handling it as well. Yep. What would you like to say about how you're handling it?
Well, so that's what I was saying is like I put a lot on you, like you weren't there to help me. Like I'm frustrated. You're like learning. And so I would resent you for like having a great time. And you're like, I'm out to dinner, you know, or if you would even check in. And I was like, oh, I can't stand you. It would drive me nuts. I had FOMO, feel like, obviously.
Because you weren't feeling included.
Included, but like also like, included, I guess, because you're doing all these things without me. Mm-hmm. And then I'm here with the baby, not learning anything, not growing with you. And we're having these total different experiences. Yeah. And I felt like I want to learn and grow with you too. So I started traveling a little bit more with you, which was fun, having my mom watch Jovi, because I was like, no one's watching Jovi at the time, remember?
Yeah, of course. So, every young mom feels that way.
Yeah. First time mom too. Mm-hmm. So what I did different this time was I packed my days. So there was a lot of things like I want to do, like get my nails done, my hair done. And so I packed my days with things that I would be busy with, working out. And then with Jovi, she had gymnastics, but then I was like, let's have a date night, her and I, on a Wednesday. And then when it came to Saturday, I was like, I'm going to get a sitter or have her go to her friends, spend the night. And so I went out with friends to have a few drinks. Yeah. So that was big for me because I used to be like, just stay at home and not do things for myself. I was like, I'm going to utilize this time without you. Another thing that we both did in the same vein is when I went out with some friends that I knew you knew, I would shoot a video all saying, hey, Jesse, hey, let's tell Jesse. So you're like, oh, he's thinking of me, he's making me still a part of this thing. Yeah, I loved it. And you did it with our friends. And I did absolutely the same thing right back to you. Yeah. Like, oh, yeah. And so we had this little game going on. Yeah. You also texted me during your speech, and you had a speech, and I was like, how was your speech? You're like, doing it right now, and sent me a picture. Like, I just felt like, I was like, you're doing it right now. I felt so included. Yeah. It was fun. That's what it is. It's the I'm including you vibe and feel that I used to not be good at in any way, shape, or form. No, but like, and gaslight me into thinking that I'm just hounding you like a mom. Yeah. And that is the energy is we're doing, it creates this, we're doing this together. I don't want to travel without you. Yeah. Unless I'm doing like a hunting trip or a surfing trip with the guys, and but even I would want you there at those anyway, because to me, a lot of our guys and a lot of us look at you like one of the guys. You know what I mean? Because you like a lot of the same shit that we like. Well, I like to do experiences. I do want to go everywhere and do everything. Yeah. So even if it's not my cup of tea, I like to do it. But it was like there was this idea and energy of we're doing this thing together. And that
I think is the key to whatever it is.
Yeah.
That even if a guy does have to travel, there can still be this energy of, let's stay connected and let's still have our inside jokes and let's still try and keep our patterns almost as normal as possible.
Yes.
Just because I'm somewhere else doesn't mean we can't FaceTime and watch a show together. Doesn't
Right.
mean I can't shoot a video of where I'm at and be like, hey, I'm thinking of you. Doesn't mean I can't FaceTime you and catch up. Doesn't mean I can't send text during critical things
Yeah.
and say, yo, this is what I'm up to.
Yeah.
And then that way you get to live it together. And that's that oneness that we're always talking about. And I think what most people don't understand is the more you create that oneness of flowingness, even being apart. I was gone for 6 days and I had a lot of time with other people and by myself working on things that are important to me. And yet it almost didn't feel like we missed each other.
Yep.
It was the wildest thing.
Yeah. I also, what you used to be bad about and you're better about now is that when you'd come home, you would still be completely checked out. And because we kept in contact the whole time, you were better about jumping back in.
Yeah.
Because we weren't so disconnected, right? And I think a lot of moms are going to, and wives will be like, okay, so this is a thing.
Okay.
When husbands go away, we're like, aw, like, but it feels good for 3 days. You like it. You're like, I get to relax or watch my show by myself. No one hounding me except the kids or whatever. That's how it feels like. So you get a little break. But then when it's too long, you want them to come back. But then when they come back, you have to get adjusted to them back again because you got adjusted to them gone. But that didn't feel as drastic to me this time because we were already kept in contact the whole time.
Yeah.
And so you used to be real checked out for a little bit. Like I'd be like, when you're back, like you were gone, you're still gone. I can feel you mentally gone.
Yeah.
You were way better about it this time.
That's what I don't think a man understands is that how quickly a woman can feel when a man is not mentally all there. And kids can sense it too. People.
Yep.
Human beings can realize this person isn't all in on this experience with me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the least attractive traits for people, especially for a high value human. If you're with somebody and you don't feel like they're there in the moment with you, I instantly am just like, got it.
Yep.
Like people that are not present are not, they just drop. Their status, in my opinion, drops really, really low.
I agree.
Just all that is like, how busy are you going through life that you're not enjoying the fucking moment?
I also want to give credit to our schedule and how serious we are about planning because I think that's what brings you back better than before because still Wednesday you take Jovi to school, you know, things like that you are still committed to that didn't drop off. And when you're gone, obviously I did the things, but it's like Monday, right back to our scheduling meeting, right back to our, you know, when we're doing date night, when you're still taking Jovi. So we didn't fall off too hard. So it was, I think, easier for you to come back to the situation.
You brought up something in a sub-context of something that you just said. I want to highlight it and bring it out because I think it's a problem for a lot of guys and they don't know that it's this problem. And I've seen it happen in our coaching group. 3 guys specifically. This was actually like the answer to what one of the things that they were doing that was really annoying their wife. And it was like they almost became dancing bears for her. They're hovering too much. They're like needing what you said. Hey, it's good for when you're gone for a little bit. It's good for a human being to not feel like there's 2 concepts that are main principles that I think have conditioned a man to think a certain way that leaves him and pushes him way out of his power. The first one is that his wife completes him. She's the better half. She's the more significant other. And that he needs this thing to complete himself as a man. I don't think that's true. And I think that because of that, a man has given his power away for no reason. I think we should be a multiplier of each other, not each other's other half.
I agree.
Okay, so that's first and foremost. Second thing is the complaints that these wives had this week was, why can't you just settle down? You can't just relax. And I even noticed this when I'm with Jess, Jovi. The more I'm just chill and just find out what it is about her, the more she majorly and really leans in.
Yes.
In a big way. Because before I left, I took her to an overnight to Magic Mountain.
Yep.
And I don't think we've talked about that on the podcast.
I know, we should. That was amazing.
But that was something that connected her and I. You were going to go away for the evening. But this it all ties together of this, I don't need my wife to complete me, which means she's not the only one that can validate me in my life. Which is also another reason why men need to learn how to build an actual network around them. And we're going to take that task on in a very, very big way this next year, of how to teach men how to build their own tribe around them. But you want to say something about the Magic Mountain thing?
And your wife doesn't need to make all the plans for you, right? Like you can take charge and initiative, and you planned Six Flags, which was so cute. I was like, good luck, because she's been difficult, right? And you're like, no, I got this. And you did.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I said, okay, what time are you leaving? And you're like, well, why? I'm like, well, because I got something planned with Jovi. Like, what? I go, well, Disneyland. And you're like,
no.
Wait, what the fuck? I want to go. I'm like, well, you're going to leave. This is what we do around here. We're going to go do some cool stuff. And I was like, no, maybe not. No, how about Magic Mountain? She loves roller coasters.
I was like, please go without me.
We just went hard in the paint.
It was so cute.
The whole day. And she's a roller coaster machine. And I was almost vomiting on almost all these rides.
That's why I can't go. That's why I was glad I didn't go.
I want to be big and tough, but eventually at the end, I was like, hey, man, I got one more in me, because I almost vomited at the end. And but she loved them.
Yep.
And she wanted to go and do this thing. And I've kind of taken this role as a parent of what would I have loved my parents to be like? What would I have loved them to be like? Not just spoil me, but like and that was super last minute. I said, Mom's leaving tomorrow. Was it that morning? It was that morning. Yeah, it was that morning. You and I were having breakfast. I go, I'm going to take her somewhere. And you're like, well, what about Magic Mountain? I'm like, yeah, that's an amazing idea. We brought her down. And I'm like, hey, guess what? Do you want to go ride roller coasters all day and we'll just spend the night? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, just pack a just in case bag in case we don't want to drive back.
Yeah.
But by the time I realized it was an hour and a half away and we're going to be riding these rides till ever, I'm like, no, we're going to go get a hotel and we're going to have the time of our life. So it was just this beautiful moment that was super last minute, that we got to go do these really amazing things. And then at that park, the same way we do at every park, what's the VIP? And we cut every single line and got on every ride she could have possibly ever wanted. And you know what? Whereas I was feeling she was kind of like, I don't really want to be with my dad much lately. She was right back to her old self. She's telling me she loves me. We were holding hands the whole time. She even said
she missed you when you were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are things that I'm even realizing, but it's the presence and understanding. I'm not trying to push my overly enthusiastic agenda on her.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back and letting her.
Because you've had to like stop the dad jokes and kind of step back and don't be like, what are we doing? What are we doing? She's like, whoa, calm down. Like we're literally the same person. She's like, your energy is out of control.
Yeah.
And when you just kind of like, not like sit on the couch and really take a back seat, but like just chill, like, how's your day? And like come at her more relaxed. Like she's way all about it.
But this is the thing I'm learning with my daughter, was the thing that these guys are learning with their wife. And that is just relax. Just fucking chill out.
Yeah.
Your enthusiasm for business and all this other stuff is fantastic.
Right.
They don't need all that octane.
Testosterone just coming at you hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we've got some questions, so we're going to go to the questions section. You feel like we covered what we covered for those things? I think that's some good, sufficient ground.
Yeah.
They'll certainly get their minds thinking. If you go, I need more of this action. Well, you got to go to marriedgame.com. You know where to go. Don't be slow. You know where to go. Marriedgame.com.
Oh, God.
All right.
Okay, go.
We've got 3 good questions. This one says, do married women really stop wanting sex, or is they just stop wanting it with their husbands?
Both.
Talk
everything,
to me.
all of it.
Okay. Go a little deeper. What do you got there?
Like, no, you never stop wanting it, but your hormones could be out of whack, stressful, a move, a death. Those things can really, hurt your body and then hurt your hormones, and then you don't really feel like. So yes and no. With their husbands, yeah, probably because they're lacking his attention. Like he's not hearing you. You're not on date night. So then you're like, I hate that guy. But if you see, some hot famous dude, you're like, I would do him. So obviously it's still in you. So
Yeah. It's a good take.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
Thank you.
I think for me, what I've experienced, do married women really stop wanting sex, or is it just with their husbands? I'm going to go from a totally different angle. Okay, so what I have discovered is that most men are delusional how they are really experienced by them that are closest. And so I was with a group of guys, and there was something that they noticed about me. When I walk into a room, I'd suck the energy out of the room. And it was from needing attention, insecurity, all the shit that I was raised to be and happily did. They, my bros, were able to go, yo, hey, man, we got a nickname for you. What's that? They called me Dyson. And they're like, because you suck all the energy out of the room, it's always got to be about you.
Yep.
And what happens is that gets very exhausting for people. Mm-hmm. But I was still doing a lot of good in the world, even with that energy. Mm-hmm. So I was on stage every 6 weeks in front of 400 to 600 people, changing lives.
Yeah.
But so you get drawn into this false delusion of I'm changing the world. I'm an amazing guy. All these people think I'm amazing. But the people that know you closest are like, well, it's not that you're not amazing, but you're also amazingly difficult to be around in certain situations, and maybe you don't know this. That was so hard for me to accept, mm-hmm. but I realized that once I accept shit, this is how people are really reacting around me. That then went on to when you left me. Mm-hmm. I was like, wait, here's the person that knows me probably better than anybody at this point, certainly in my day-to-day life. And this person saying my life would be better without you in it. If you're not capable of actually hearing that and processing that and going, wait a fucking second, this is the box of mirrors right around me. The people that know me best are actually pointing shit out to me. And I've met guys, they cannot accept that. Mm-hmm. And because they've helped other people in their life that know them from a distance, mm-hmm. they have a hard time hearing from people close to them that your shit stinks, bro, mm-hmm. and you got to fucking start wiping better, right?
Yes.
That is the hard thing. So when I see this, a guy asking this question, what I'm realizing is, oh yeah, your wife probably is not acting like she wants to have sex with you because she knows you really well, has probably already told you, can you stop this? Can you not do this? Why are you acting this way? Why are you freaking off the handle? Why are you so defensive? Blah, blah,
yes.
blah. You're not seeing it
yep.
because you're at the office and you're the hero and they think you're amazing, or you're the sports star, you're the hero. So the people that actually around you are like, bro, you're actually like trash at this, and this. Did you understand that? If you don't get it, then they feel like they're not seen and not heard. So this woman goes, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Or actually, I don't want to fuck this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it becomes that type of thing. So I would say, do married women really stop wanting sex, or is it just with their husbands? No, I think that they do want to have sex. I think if the husband isn't really being the thing, then she's not going to feel it. And I think that as women get older, they start to get more comfortable with who they are and start realizing if I live in insecurity any longer, I'm doomed for this prison of insecurity forever. Mm-hmm. So they eventually go, fuck it, I'm just going to own who I am. Mm-hmm. And once they do that, then the real them, they start to get comfortable with the real them. So they start actually shedding a lot of the cultural norms. Mm-hmm. And they start speaking up a little bit more. Like you just said, you're like, hey, you see a hot celebrity, like, yeah, I'd fuck that guy. Yeah. You start to think, well, that would be, I don't have to shame myself anymore mm-hmm. for that. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
So I think that's the full thread of what that thing says to me.
I agree.
And
love
what
it.
A guy understands. So
no, the answer is no.
So yeah, the answer is no.
Next.
Okay. What's the deal with she says she is too tired, but will stay up all night watching Netflix or scrolling on social media? What do you say there, Jessie Joy?
Well, I think it goes along with the first question.
Okay.
She don't want to fuck him. And I don't know what their sex life is. So what if it's like he doesn't go or he wants a whole shebang in that moment because he's like, this is the time, I better have it. Like, I got to get it. So I don't know if they've talked about their sex or if she's not giving it up to him. Why do I say it like that?
Giving it up to him?
If she's not giving it up, if she's not saying yes more often and no more often than yes, then he's going to be like, I got, probably it doesn't feel right. And she's like, I'd rather lay here and scroll or whatever.
Yeah.
If they haven't figured out the times that works best for them or her, and then she's like, I just showered. Like, that was a situation where I feel like I like to go to bed clean. So can we do it before? Like, so that we come up with the conversation to have. They probably need to do that too. I mean, there could be plenty of reasons why, but I would go with the first question is she don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then he has to look within. Is he being the man, or is there things that she doesn't like? I don't know, whatever.
I think the hardest pivot a man has to make in deciding things is when he sees his wife is acting a certain way, he wants to chastise her, criticize her, or coach her on how to be better, as opposed to the very first instinct come back and go, wait a second, what part am I really playing in this? And when she is tired, she probably is tired. If she's a mom and she's doing her thing, there's probably a lot of exhaustion going on there.
To be fair, like, I'm not really a nighttime sexer either. I'm tired in the night.
Yeah.
I've had my day.
Yeah, and I think an understanding for this guy is that might be her first time once the kids are in bed, for her time to be like, okay, I don't actually have to think about the kids for the first time today.
She finally puts him down and he's like, okay. More like, it could feel like that. So what I think they should do is talk about a better schedule. To he has needs too. So
that he's probably pulled that line out. Hey, I have needs, and she's just like, well, they're gonna.
Well, he should say, well, when is best?
Well,
not
course.
I have needs, give it up to me. It's, well, when is best for you? Because that's you're married. You have to have sex, right? You want to have sex. So when is best?
The man does.
Well, she does too.
Yes, but not with him.
Yes.
In his current condition.
Which goes back to the first question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I've always shared with guys, like, if your wife is always on social media, it's because she's getting more fulfillment out of being on that than she is talking with you.
Wow.
So the concept is
good.
You're just way more boring than Netflix, and you're way more boring than social media, which means you're boring. You can be anything, but you can't be boring. And so people, it's like, why are you buying that program and not ours? It's better. No, it's not. Apparently it is, because more people are buying it, and people are getting transformations, and people are changing. So there's this point that a guy has to step back and go, well, if I truly want my wife to hang out with me and want to have sex with me and not be scrolling on social media or watching Netflix, I need to make it something that's better than scrolling on social media or Netflix. Or else she's going to feel like she's giving up something to be with you.
Her time, her alone time, her relaxed time. Yeah. But she would put her in the situation where she wants to spend that time with you. Right.
That is the question you should be asking. He's saying, what's the deal with? Well, the deal is you're not that interesting. She's not that attracted. She's not that. There would be a time when you were dating, would be my guess, when making sure she would skip any show to be with you.
Yes.
So who were you at that time? If you said, hey, I can hang out with you tonight, and it's your favorite night to watch your show, there was a time when she'd be like, well, I would skip that to be with you.
I could watch it later. Let's hang out.
Somebody record it. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
So there was a time when that was the thing. My guess is your energy was probably awesome, and it was attractive, and it brought her in. At this point, she's saying, oh, no, if I have any free time, that's the last thing I'm going to think about is being with you and your needs. No, I'm going to be doing this. So I think just the assessment of the situation, again, most men are going to have a very hard time going, fuck, this is my actual report card. People would rather watch that show than me.
Go to marriedgame.com, everyone.
Yeah, it's, and they go, well, I'm not funny, I'm not this. I'm like, you were. She said, I do.
Yeah.
You were her type. You had You had her at some point, but you got boring. And what really probably happened is you stopped being interested in her, and she's like, well, fuck this. And that's the thing that guys don't understand. So here's what guys mostly do when they hear this. You ready? They'll be like, oh, cool, I need to go show interest in her. And they'll do it for 2 weeks, and they won't get what they want, and they'll go back. It didn't work. Oh, Keith and Jess, it didn't work. Oh, because you were doing it to get something.
Yes.
You take her energy, motherfucker. You are a Dyson. You are a Dyson. No more Dysons. I used to be that. I know exactly what it is.
Does not feel good.
All right. This one might seem a little simpler, but it's a good one. And I think a lot of guys are probably going to have this question. Why was our sex life amazing at the start, but now it seems like it is a chore?
Well, I think we covered that in all the other 2 questions too.
Yeah, they were kind of similar, but again, go back to it. How would you answer that one if you didn't answer the other 2?
It seems like a chore is because he has the taker energy. He hasn't given his husband duties and fatherly duties. So it just feels like you're taking, and then what more can I get? What more can you give me? That's what it does feel like.
So it becomes this thing like another thing I have to go do to please my husband. How can he get out of that?
Well, like looking within. Where am I showing up? How am I showing up in my marriage? Yeah, as a father, how much am I giving? How much am I taking? Like it's all to look within.
That brings me up, now that you're saying, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we covered it in the other ones.
But I was thinking something that definitely probably changes for most relationships from the dating world to married world is usually a woman seems to be more exploratory, adventurous, and willing to do stuff when they're dating than they are when they're married. Why do you think that is?
I wonder if in their relationship they had shut her down a little bit, like, oh, why would you do that? Or, oh, and then you start to hold within and hold back. In those situations. Like in the beginning, you don't really know anything. You're like, you like this? Do you like that? But along the way, you feel, and this is from my perspective, I felt shut down. And not like, I know you're not doing it intentionally, right? But that's how it feels in the moment. So you're like, I won't say that again. I'm not going to do that again. Or that didn't work out. So you start like retreating within.
Can you think of anything specifically? I would love to know. This is
in our old relationship, remember how you talked about all the like women in times before with me, then it felt like I couldn't live up to. I couldn't perform as well as them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Not that you were saying do what they did.
Right.
But I was like, I don't want to do that. And I start to feel like weird about sex.
Interesting. I wonder if other guys have done that. Maybe, I didn't tell you about all of them, but there was
you told me about some crazy ass situation where I was like, that's not me. I can't do that.
I can't even remember what I told you.
I know exactly. I can feel it.
Oh my God.
It's just a crazy scenario where I was like, well, that's not me. So
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a married woman might stop some of the exploration and adventure because they feel like they've been shut down in some way or shamed in some way before. So therefore they're a little slower to keep putting themselves out there.
Yeah. That, or if they have ever felt like if she asked for sex and he's like, no, and you're like, oh, I'm never asking again. That I don't think has ever happened to us. But that I have felt that one time where I was like, I want it. And he's like, oh, I can't. And I was like, I don't want to be shut down ever.
It's pretty rare for a woman to feel that type of rejection.
Yeah, but it does. And then and usually the man does the initiative, right? And when you actually like take and have the courage to do it, and then you get shut down, you're like, well, there goes that again.
Wow. Yeah, is this more of a real thing for women than I think a lot of people.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen in our relationship, but I think that really does happen.
Yeah. There are some stuff on Instagram that I'll see, videos, people will send me videos or whatever, and I'll be like looking at the comments. It's a win-lose situation. It's not even a win. There's probably a lose-lose situation, but you see some people in the comments that there are some women that are like, he never says he wants it. He never wants it. And then you click on their profile and you're like, yeah, there's not a guy out there that's going to objectively say, yeah, that turns me on.
Wow.
And as maybe as physically as to guys, the visual thing happens pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I have an analogy reframe I want to ask you about, and it's kind of along this line. It's a question I ask guys. I did it at my last conversation with the dudes in Miami. And I said, how long would it take you to walk into a room of two beautiful women scissoring for you to get turned on?
2 seconds. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
1 second.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, everyone's like, okay, I like what I'm seeing and I like what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would that be switched, reversed for a woman?
I mean, could just joke and say a man, building something or cleaning or doing the dishes, right? But I mean, honestly, I don't know. Fireman with nothing on, like, I don't know. Yeah, that's hot.
But I want to know because I've been using it as like a claim for married game lately, and it's like there's certain things that cause deep attraction for a woman and for a man. They might be different, but I my guess is, and my hypothesis is that the pull is just as strong. And so I go, okay, let's imagine there you are, and you walk
maybe
into
not joking. Maybe it's him like handling all the business, or the boss man speaking on stage, or like that shit's hot too. You see a singer, that's why women love singers or in a band, right? So I don't know, it could be something like that. A dad like throwing up his daughter, like that shit's hot.
Yeah, but it's is it instant attraction like two women scissoring hot?
I don't know, because men are different. They are visual and they obviously see that, but women don't want to just see your dick out and naked, so maybe it is the equivalent to for a woman. Yeah,
well, I imagine it wasn't going to be the same.
No, it's not the same.
But if there is if there's something obvious, like, wow, that is, I think
a man on stage dressed well, smart, speaking like real smart things, where you're like, oh yes, and he's single and it, so you're like instantly, I know he's single, so he's hot, and like, how do I get his attention? Something like that.
Wow. Okay, see, now
this whole scenario.
Yes, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. Well, what's interesting about that, gosh, you're really in tune with something, because as I've been thinking about, first and foremost, you can learn game and you can save your marriage from the pit within 90 days. We've proven that with 450 dudes.
Yeah.
But what we haven't been able to communicate is the advanced levels of these things with most of the guys. And it's
like
actually
beyond just the surface level, right? You're fixing it at 90 days, but how do you go beyond and make it better? How do you make it stay?
How do you keep getting better and better and better? Like, our promise for every guy that comes through our doors is that we're going to help you make your sex life better with age, and your marriage better with age. And I was talking with Garrett the other day when we were just in Miami, and I'm like, bro, it just keeps getting better. Like, I will not fucking stop this message. I will not stop proclaiming it, because it continues to keep getting better. That being said, there's some factors that cause a man to actually become attractive to himself. And it's stepping into leadership roles. Like you just said, speaking on stage or being the person in the room that's guiding the conversation. Yeah. I pulled so many women because of that one thing. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I knew that's what I wanted, someone like that. Because my dad was on stage. That's what I looked for. Any man
can learn how to be a guy who can control an audience and control a conversation and lead and guide a conversation, for people to lead, to feel led by an actual leader. We have the science and technology. We've been teaching guys how to do this, but I'm realizing more and more now that the guys through Married Game need this as well, because they understand what it actually means to lead in real life. Because a lot of them aren't.
That's what women want, right?
Yeah, exactly. The second thing that I realized is that another thing that you just mentioned is this leader of other men, not just upfront talking.
No, the actual leader, but of the whole thing.
Of your own local tribe. And it made me realize there's two things in a man that once he encounters these two things and makes them a part of his actual life, he becomes damn near unrecognizable in a pretty short amount of time. Number one, what truth do you subscribe to? Okay. And number two, what tribe are you surrounded with? Plain and simple.
Like if you go to a bar and you see the man one man of the group, and he's the one like talking, laughing, having the most fun, but like everyone's kind of like that's hot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's a formula for how to build that. And we've discovered that too. Mm-hmm. And these are things that we realize that if you don't have a tribe of dudes around you that are your real friends, and we have guys that fly into here, part of our brotherhood. Mm-hmm. I've built this at a really epic level in a very epic way. But a guy, if he's in his own hometown, can put 3 or 4 or 5 guys every Sunday morning doing a cold plunge or going to coffee or doing something. That man's life will never be the same if he has real people speaking into his life and creating a box of mirrors for himself.
Our society misses that.
Yeah.
Like a group of friends.
Yeah. And most guys, when I ask them on the phone or ask them, hey, do you have 3 or 4 bros that you meet up with on a regular basis that are all like, that you admire them and you respect them and you think they're cool and they think you're cool and like you're there for each other and you're breathing life in each other? Almost no guys have it. And then therefore they go to their wife looking for all of this needy validation.
What I said the other day, I was like, I don't want to be the only friend, your only friend. I didn't say it to you, but just saying it in general. I don't want to be your only friend, guy or girl, or my kids.
Yeah.
Everyone needs that. Women need that too.
Yeah.
A group of friends.
Yeah.
So you don't put all your energy in, like, you're not fulfilling me.
Yeah.
No, I can fulfill myself with my friends, and I like to hang out with you.
Exactly. That this, again, is a part of that conditioning where they go, guys, they get married, and then they leave their guy friends.
Yeah.
And then they start getting feminized by this woman because they go, wait, shit, she's got the gold I'm looking for between her legs.
Well, that, and it's like, oh, my wife doesn't want me going out by myself. Well, that's something they just made up.
That is something they made up. But if they're trying to get between your legs, most men are going to change their standards to try and get it. And at the first resistance of like any fight or argument or disagreement, he's going to go, well, but do I want to get laid, or you always see, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? This is a dichotomy that does not exist. It's not about being right or being happy. It's about, are you willing to stand in your truth for who you are, or are you willing to be a little fucking chameleon?
Well, then they turn into a chameleon, and it's like, that wasn't the guy that she met.
Exactly.
And married initially.
Well,
and now he's completely different. And
like
all he wants is this. And now he's just a pathetic little dude following me around now. Saying
just, all I want to be is just told I'm awesome and I just want to fuck you. Like, is that so hard? Well, yeah, I understand. I understand that's what you want.
Yeah.
Have you paused to consider what I want in any way, shape, or form? Very interesting. And you even said it. You're like, I met you with friends.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to you? Where did and we had a guy this week, his wife's like, I wish you were out back smoking a cigar with 5 of your buddies, going over conspiracy theories and how you're going to save the world, just to know that you actually have a tribe of dudes that even cares about you. Because at this point, you look like the loner. And the loner is the outcast, is the reject, or as we would use in animal terms, that's the runt of the litter. And if you're the runt of the litter, she's like, well, who did I marry?
Yep.
And so when I look back at my life and I go, how was I able to attract not just beautiful women when I wanted them, but an actual beautiful wife, and we continue to keep growing, I realized, I have a fucking fantastic group of guy friends around me that support me, that basically make me believe I'm the second coming of Jesus Christ. And I make them feel the same way. So I don't need you to be like, oh my God, you're the greatest human on planet Earth. Go ask my friends. They'll tell you.
That's what you were in the beginning when I met you. Then when I left you, you had no friends. You did nothing. You sat on the couch. You only worked. You came home. And then you wanted me to fulfill you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm out.
That's not going to work.
And now look at you. You run the whole guys group.
Yeah. But it's an understanding of how that thing works.
Yep.
And I realized, having a good group of guys, and yet most guys have no idea how to do it.
It's not even for me. It's for you.
No shit.
You love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But because of it, you go, wow, there's a leader among men. That is a highly, and not only a leader among men, but that what that says is status. Status is a very big thing for attraction. Secondly, it creates a man that understands that he can be comfortable in his skin because his friends are all joking and joshing and bashing, and it's what you do. If you're not talking shit with your buddies, they're not your buddies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking shit with your buddies and you're being exposed to things that you're not maybe that good at, shit, dude, every one of my best friends has a better marriage because they hang out with me. And I'm better in certain areas because I hang out with them.
Yep.
Yet most guys don't understand this. Most guys don't even know how to talk at a group of, playing poker with a bunch of guys. They don't even know how to talk without sounding like they're tripping all over themselves, or they're afraid to even fucking talk.
Oh, gosh.
So but as I'm realizing this advanced level of game is not so much learning more lines or any of that. It's how do you become a guy that actually has influence over other people? Well, it's really easy to do if you understand how it works. The same way married game works. If you understand these principles, don't ever fucking violate them, you'll always find yourself in an empowered position. So there's a lot of stuff we've been uncovering lately that's been really fun, and mainly it's because guys are coming to me and going, how do you do this? You seem so comfortable here. What was that process like? And I was like, oh shit. I started looking around. All the guys who are really have great marriages, but also guys really enjoy being around them, they were able to communicate at a high level and not afraid to talk in front of others, and they had a really good group of guys around them that they could end up being honest with, being embarrassed in front of without feeling weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I've got some of my
ego dropped.
Yeah.
Because they know that you're my teammate. You love me, so you're going to give me the honest feedback.
Yeah.
And that's necessary to hear.
It is.
And in your marriage.
Yeah. So that's powerful stuff.
That was good.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. So with that being said, listen, bottom line is being a man in today's world is not as hard as they want you to believe. You're not a bad guy. You just have bad information. You probably don't know how to actually build friends. And it might be because you're not that good of a friend, or you don't know how to be a good friend. You probably aren't communicating in a way that's as an effective leader, and so therefore people are passing you up. Your wife's passing you up because you realize you're not able to communicate with power or with certainty like a leader, so she doesn't see you as a leader. And ultimately, if she is like any of these questions, these guys, the dating was better when you were, the sex was better when you were dating, she doesn't seem that into it, or she seems that Netflix is more important than you. Well, the bottom line is that is a you thing. It always comes back to you. And so head to marriedgame.com. We'll show you how to start this journey in becoming this supremely valuable man, really getting your marriage back to the thing that causes you peace and playfulness and pleasure. And then how do you build yourself as a man and to actually be a leader? And one of the things that we pride ourselves on Married Game is I'm not just teaching people how to be good followers. I, as a leader, it's my job to produce other leaders. So that's the deal. So head to marriedgame.com. Watch a short video there, then you can book a call and chat with us. Also, you can go to marriedgamebook.com, marriedgamebook.com, and get on our wait list. The book is out. We will be shipping them here very shortly, but go ahead and put your name on that list so we can get that out to you. We're really excited about that as well. So, with that being said, keep crushing it, because that shit is contagious.